That the world has changed. Technology has changed the world. You know, we used to have a certain number of newspapers that published in Toronto and radio stations and TV stations. We now have the internet where virtually anybody can have a radio station or a TV station, and nobody's jumping in to say, well, let's go back to the way it was before. And so what we're trying to do instead is to say, let's make sure that the rules we do have in place, as between taxis and Uber and limousines, are fair, are equitable, that they provide choice to the public, that they allow the public to take advantage of the latest technology, and most important of all, that they protect and preserve public safety on things like insurance and vehicle inspections. And I noticed in looking at the Toronto Star, for example, that they say we have come up with a balanced package just like that. And I think if people focus on the public interest as opposed to any of the factions that are involved here, the public interest, the broader public interest, equitable rules, they will see that that's exactly what we've done. But nowadays with the technology, for example, you have to put in, kind of where you're coming from and where you're going. Do we insist that people in a restaurant, who we also regulate, that the servers speak English? No, we don't. I think we find that most people do speak English, that is, and have that ability, and it certainly is helpful. But I just think it's one of those things where we're saying with a number of these regulations, it was imposing a burden on taxis that was making it more difficult for them to compete, and so we are doing a measure of deregulation here, which is designed to make sure that taxis can earn a living, taxi drivers in particular, and that the public, again, will have choice, will have the latest technology, and will have the assurance of a safe ride with good insurance and good vehicle inspections and good driver checks. People do now have a broader choice as to how they can get around in terms of ground transportation, and if they find that there are instances in which drivers are not getting properly trained under the new regime where more of that responsibility is left to them and the people they work with, then they will take their business elsewhere. But I think the fact of the matter is that what had happened is that the training requirements being imposed on taxi drivers had become too stringent. I think it was up to 17 days of training, and with GPS and with all these different things and with a competitive marketplace and a fair set of rules, I think it'll be in the interest of taxi drivers, taxi companies, and Uber and all the others participating to have people well trained and to have them providing good service, because then they will win the business of the public, and the public will know that they're going to be safe no matter what kind of a car they get in, which has been my overriding objective. Fair competition and safe travel for the public with the latest technology no matter what kind of car they get into.